Ripple's an unregistered security. It's pretty obvious. There's a company, right? Just like Ethereum is an unregistered security. Yeah, I think the best thing for the world would be if the SEC pretty much shut down all of it.
Michael Saylor on a recent episode of the PBD podcast, Patrick Bet David podcast, as you heard, says the SEC should shut down Ripple for offering XRP as an unregistered security. And if you're asking why, according to Saylor, Ripple owns the majority of XRP coins in escrow. This is true. Ripple owns over 60%. And sells them to the general public. This has also proven to be true, as Brad Garlinghouse has admitted that in the past, Ripple has sold XRP on the open market. And number 3, he added that Ripple does not disclose details about its XRP holdings because the company has not gone public. This last one, I do have to push back a little bit. Ripple does do quarterly, I believe, reports on what they do with their holdings. Of course, that's not held to the same standard as if they were a public company, but Ripple has disclosed some details nonetheless. In fact, just so you have all the information, even though we did just go over some of this, here's the full clip of Michael Saylor speaking about XRP.
Ripple's an unregistered security. It's pretty obvious. There's a company. The company owns a bunch of it. They sell it to the general public, but they never took the company public. There's no disclosures. Right, so the SEC's position is you're selling an unregistered security. It's a crypto token, right? Just like Ethereum is an unregistered security. It's controlled by a few people in the Ethereum Foundation and Consensus.
Fair. Then here's a question.
Just like FTT, just like Solana.
Perfect. But here's a follow-up on that, Michael.
They're all unregistered securities.
Here's a follow-up on that.
Right.
I don't own a single Ripple, just so we know. So full disclaimer, I'm not a Ripple guy. But if both of them are unregistered, why target Ripple and not target Ethereum the way he is targeting Ripple? And by the way, this is coming from a guy that owns Ethereum, not Ripple.
Yeah, I think the best thing for the world would be if the SEC pretty much shut down all of it. It's all unethical, right? I mean, the Bitcoin position would be Bitcoin is an ethical commodity. All of these other altcoins are unregistered securities. They're all just equity tokens issued by a company in order to get around going public, and they're committing securities fraud.
Ethereum included.
Of course, especially Ethereum.
And specifically, why does Michael Saylor say that Ethereum's a security? Isn't Ethereum the most decentralized next to Bitcoin? If you had to pick a number 2, wouldn't ETH be the second most decentralized?
What's the second best? There is no second best.
Well, the issue is Ethereum's staking contract as well as the foundation behind it, according to Michael Saylor. Data from the crypto analytics platform Dune Analysis shows that investors have sent over 15 million Ethereum, almost $20 billion, to the ETH 2.0 staking contract. And in a direct quote from Saylor, he says, "If a bank took 20 billion of your assets, froze the window, and said you can't have your money back ever, maybe in 2024, but we're not sure. We may give you interest on it, we may take it all, we may slash it. That's the definition of a security, right? It's an investment of money in a common enterprise, relying upon the efforts of others with an expectation of profit." In fact, here is Michael Saylor speaking about Ethereum in full, even though I did just share with you one part of it. Listen to the full context.
And they're committing securities fraud.
Ethereum included.
Of course. Especially Ethereum. Ethereum's got $20 billion of ETH token locked up in the staking contract right now, and there's a couple of people that may or may not give it back to you ever. Now, isn't that the definition of investment contract? If a bank took $20 billion of your assets, froze the window, and said you can't have your money back ever, maybe in the year 2024, we're not sure. We're just going to keep it. We may actually give you interest on it. We may take it all. We may slash it. That's the definition of a security, right? It's an investment of money in a common enterprise, relying upon the efforts of others and expectation of profit. The whole point is, if you want a crypto asset to be a commodity, you can't rely upon 4 engineers, a company, a CEO. If a person can make a decision, it's not a commodity anymore. The fact is, Ripple's got a company, Ethereum's got a company. Ethereum Foundation has engineers. You are literally waiting on the engineers that work for the Ethereum Foundation to write the code to give you your money back. And then you're also waiting to find out what the monetary policy will be They change it half a dozen times in the last 6 years. It's always changing.
Why this is significant? Because let's remember, in one respect, Michael Saylor is just some guy. He is not the regulators. He does not represent what they are actively thinking. But why this matters to you is that Michael Saylor does represent, in many respects, the Wall Street institutional mindset right now. Huge uncertainty post-FTX collapse. And these are the conversations happening right now behind closed doors about crypto. So what's the solution in Michael Saylor's eyes? These companies, after all, are not going away. These blockchains, even if they're banned in America, they're global. Well, here's what Michael Saylor believes should be the solution.
You know, the regulators ought to just be very, very clear. If you were very clear, you'd say, look, you've got like 180 days in order to register your token with the SEC, and you register and fill out these forms, give us all these facts, answer our questions, and we'll tell you whether you're a currency, whether or not you're a commodity, whether or not you're a security, and whether or not you're allowed to trade. And at the end of the 180 days, if you haven't actually registered, you're shut down and nobody can buy and sell and trade this thing anywhere in the world. And that would actually clean up the industry.
That is where that clip cuts off, and I will link the full podcast of Michael Saylor linked down below. Check it out. But in my opinion, something like that 180-day registry period, maybe not to that degree, but something like that will happen for companies in the US. But it'll just be interesting to see which companies choose to accept that and which companies just move offshore. For me, I think a good solution in all this would be some clear-cut metrics to decide if the blockchain is truly decentralized, which blockchains are truly decentralized. Because if you're truly decentralized, then no, you shouldn't have to register like this, nor would you be able to if you're a truly decentralized blockchain. For example, Bitcoin is decentralized in 3 ways. With the developer community, that's global. With the miners, that's global, although that's the argument you could say the mining does have pockets of centralization with these mining pools, I get that. But Bitcoin is also decentralized with the nodes, with the people. If you can prove you're a global, decentralized, commodity-like blockchain, then the SEC has no ground to stand on. Now, this is an ongoing story. If you're interested in staying informed with daily videos on the crypto market, click subscribe. By the way, my name's Austin. And as of the last 24 hours, Sam Bankman-Fried says he has hired Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer. This is Mark S. Cohen, who helped take down El Chapo and recently represented Maxwell. After Reuters first reported the news, the disgraced founder and former CEO of FTX says that he had hired Cohen in a live Twitter Spaces interview, and when asked how he would pay for this in a live session, he replied he didn't know. In terms of paying legal fees, I'm still working that out. I'm not sure if I will be able to pay all the legal fees. Now, in my opinion, I think he has to say something like this, meaning I think he'll be easily able to pay for the legal fees. He probably has many wallets not disclosed, and he probably was able to withdraw something before the collapse. Well, what about Binance? Binance's Bitcoin reserves are collateralized 101% according to their new Mazars audit. Mazars concluded that Binance's Bitcoin reserves are fully collateralized following a proof of reserves and a proof of liabilities verification. The collateralization ratio is 101%. Hey, good news for the Link Marines. Chainlink staking now live on the Ethereum mainnet. Keep in mind, this is just the early access version 0.1, and this initial version of the Chainlink staking initiative gives interested and eligible proponents an opportunity to stake up to 7,000 Link in the limited pool. So if you want to support the network, earn a little bit of interest back, you are now able to stake Link. But keep in mind that Chainlink did disclose the staked linked tokens and rewards accrued would remain locked until the team releases staking version 0.2. And when will this be? Well, this next version is expected to be released in about 9 to 12 months. And for those of you who are used to be involved with Celsius, bankrupt crypto lender Celsius to release $2.8 million in bonuses to prevent staff poaching. So I guess Celsius is still a company, they still have employees, and they don't want those employees to get poached. Now, approximately 170 Celsius employees remain, compared to the around 375 number of employees at the beginning of the Chapter 11 procedures. And in terms of which employees get the money, only non-executive personnel who are working to keep Celsius aloft as the company strives to emerge from insolvency will receive bonuses. The payments will be less than $75,000, and only individuals with paychecks between $25,000 and $425,000 will be considered. By the way, be sure to grab your tickets for Bitcoin 2023 next year in Miami. Use Altcoin Daily, the code Altcoin Daily for 10% off. And like always, see you tomorrow.